We have to talk about Wednesday's Mets meltdown at Citi Field with Jake Brown, the host of the Sick podcast, Mets Magic. Jake, wasn't too much magic going on in Queens the Wednesday. Another loss, a series sweep, an ejection, and some post-game comments that got Jorge Lopez DFA'd. What happened at Citi Field on Wednesday? You were there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to just call the podcast Mets Tragic. I mean, as soon as it starts, it's Mets Magic, and there hasn't been any sense of magic. This is a pony trick show that we're watching, and every day I say it's rock bottom. Wednesday was rock bottom, and I knew, a lot of Met fans knew, there were problems with this team beyond their on-field play, but I think this solidified they have clubhouse issues. They have guys who aren't meant to play together. They have cohesion issues. They have a manager who's never been in this position that can handle this because he's never been a manager. And I'm not saying it was the wrong choice of manager, but when times get tough, there's no Buck Showalter. There's no veteran manager to talk to the guys. Now, they had a team meeting. You hope that helps. But everything A to Z, from performance, they tie the game at 3, then they implode, Jorge Lopez. You can't say that. You can't say you're the worst effing team in baseball. You just don't say it. You can think it. Mets fans are allowed to say it. They're paying customers. You're in that clubhouse. You just can't say it. One, it's not true. There's other bad teams, too, that are worse. But you just don't say that and throw guys essentially under the bus. Your manager said it was unacceptable to throw the glove in the crowd. He says, I had no regrets. Now you're going against your manager. See ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. This is bad as it gets, and I think you're seeing now the core is riding with the Mets, and something's got to change. There's going to be a lot of changes coming, and it's going to be a new day. But right now, it's still the old day. We're still in the present day, and the present day is a Mets team that is so far out of contention. And when fans say, like me, this is the worst, most frustrating, disappointing team in our lives, there's a reason for it. The last Mets team to have a record this poor at this point of the season was the 1993 Mets. They won 59 freaking games. So this is looking like a 65-win teams if they don't have that kick in that rear end and hope that this teammating actually shakes it up and does something for them.
So we're about, a little over a third into the season. Who's got more frustrations, the players or the fan base? And what's next? What does the fan base want to see next? Obviously wins, but what should go down next, Jake?
Yeah, they're in a tough spot because their top prospects just have not looked ready to make it here. Now, a lot of people overlook this, but losing Ronnie Mauricio for the season was so massive for this team because they easily slot him in and replace Jeff McNeil with Ronnie Mauricio. They easily slot Brett Beatty struggles with Ronnie Mauricio, and Ronnie Mauricio was that spark plug. He's not here, unfortunately. You knew that coming to the year. Likely out for the season. Maybe he comes up August, September for the torn ACL. If not, he's probably a starter next year. But that was a spark plug that this lineup could have used. The next one's going to be Luis Angel Acuna. At some point here in June, I think Acuna is going to get the call-up, whether it's to play for McNeil, whether to play for Beatty, whatever it may be. He's going to get the call-up. You know, you got to call up maybe a couple of pitchers. Now you're going to need relief help because now you lost Jorge Lopez, who, by the way, is one of your better players this season. Other than yesterday, I mean, he had a sub-3 ERA. He was having a really good season. Unfortunately, he's imploded and clearly showing he didn't want to be here. So now you got to get another arm into the bullpen because you're without him. You lost Edwin Diaz to the IL. Bodies are dropping. Bodies getting cut. Bodies getting hurt. So I think the next move is just give Acuna a chance and then hope that some of these core guys start hitting because Pete Alonso's got to start hitting if you're going to get anything for him in a trade at this point. He's been struggling. Lindor's got to turn it around. McNeil's got to do something. But there's not really a lot you can do because some of the top prospects either aren't ready or they're injured. There's the other prospects like Clifford. He's hurt. So until they're back healthy and guys are actually producing, there aren't many changes you can make to the roster. There aren't many trades on May 30th that you can make. You just got to hope guys come alive, and this was kind of a wake-up call for them.
Do you bring back Kodai Senga, or do you let him rest for the rest of the year? Do you shut him down?
I wouldn't shut him down if he's ready at some point. I just don't know if he'll ever be ready. It seems like every update we get on Kodai Senga is negative. It's, he threw off a mound. He threw at a Radio Shack. He threw it in your local backyard. Like, he's throwing at every place but a Citi Field mound. that he's going to be showing up at bar mitzvah soon. I think at this point of the season, it's getting ugly. Have yourself a chicken finger buffet at a bar mitzvah with Kodai Senga. It's going to become that at some point because I think you bring him back if he's healthy because you physically just need arms. But, if he's not all the way there, I would shut him down. This season, I hate to say is a wash, but it's sure looking like it. So we'll see in a few weeks. I know he has been throwing a little bit, but if you lose him long term, you're in trouble now next year. So I might not risk it. So I'm not inside his arm. I can't tell, but if he's good to go, I'd still like to see a few months of him. And listen, the attendance is down 20%. Soon it's going to be down 30%, and Mr. and Miss Met are going to be the only people in the building come July and August, the dog days of summer. So they need a selling point, and Senga is kind of a selling point. He was great. When I went to his outings last year, it was fun. He was striking guys out left and right, the ghost forkball, the ghost on the scoreboard. It was kind of an experience. So, and also he brings out the Japanese fan base as well. So I do think there is an element of Senga that this team needs not only for their performance, but also to get some fannies in the seats. And, if he's good to go, I would bring him back.
Shout out the platform. Where can the people find the podcast?
Yeah, Sick Pod Mets on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. The Sick Podcast, Mets Magic. And subscribe to my YouTube, at Jake Brown Radio. Follow me at Jake Brown Radio. Doing a lot of fun food reviews, stadium food reviews, New York City food reviews. A lot of fun content on the YouTube. So the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic, and the YouTube. And keep riding with us on Up in the Blue Seats until the Rangers are out, which is hopefully after they go down the Canyon of Heroes for a parade.
All right. Thanks for hopping on, man.
Thanks for having me.